All right, good day or otherwise time-appropriate greetings to you folks here on Speed Gaming. Welcome to the Metroid Prime Randomizer Weekly Community Race. We got a good one for you today, folks. It is even weekly settings, which for Prime Rando, that means we've got random starting items, random elevators, and random starting spot. So it's going to be a good one. On stream today, we've got Samuel6710 and Baja Blood. And I am Captain MD on comms, and tracking today's race is our ever wonderful tracker Off 82. And we're going to have a good time here, folks. So we are going to be ready in just a hot minute. A couple runners are still getting set up in the race room. But we have random elevators today, which means between two areas. So it's not like main core is going to lead to PPC or anything like that. That would be funny, but also completely isolate an area. But yeah, Samuel and Baja Blood, no strangers to Prime Weekly. So they will both put on a great show for you here today. We have got a total of 4 racers today, it looks like. So a decent house. Now, yesterday's Echoes Weekly was a little on the relaxing side, with basically everything in Aegon in one region and all the other regions just housing MacGuffins. So today, personally, I would like to see something a little more spicy. Now, we have random starts, so I would like to start in... We can start in mines. We had a start in Security Access A once. And I think, what did we start with? We started with, like, Wave Beam, Power Bombs, and Morph Ball, I think. And then Ice Beam was in Security Access A itself. So, did I say bombs? Because if I did say bombs, I meant Morph Ball. I think I said Morph Ball, but you get the idea. So we can have mine starts, but we shall see. All right, it looks like our runners are just about set to go here, so we will get the festivities on our way. We do thank you for enjoying your holiday weekends if you do celebrate them with us today. But nevertheless, we are very glad to have you with us. So that being said, the race room has just been kicked off, which means we will kick off here in just a hot second. And there's a bit of a delay between race time and restream, so bear with. And the timers are running, so let the festivities begin. We will discover our location and starting items upon load into our room of choice for today. So where has Randovania decided to place us? Phendrana. Interesting. And our starting loadout today is Missile Launcher and Supers. Very interesting combo. We have started in, this appears to be Research Lab Hydra, if I'm not mistaken. So super missiles immediately going to come into use. How much do you want to bet it's Wave Beam in the capsule? Yep, kind of needed to get out, so... So yeah, it looks like runner's just going to make their way up to the top of the lab, grab Wave Beam, and move on. Unfortunately, not the best armaments for this scenario, as we only have 5 missiles. So not exactly the best power arrangement to deal with multiple space pirates at once. We are also starting suitless, so no special damage resistance bonuses either. This is gonna be fun, folks. Now with super missiles and wave beam, thermal visor is still required, but with we almost have access to Thardis. I think the only thing keeping us out from Thardis right now is thermal visor. So we could have a vanilla spider ball today. Careful, Samuel, you're already below half health, and there's a turret staring at you. Oh yeah, we need Morph Ball to kind of get in there too. But Samuel, our first runner to Ruined Courtyard here. We're going to see what item... Actually, we can't see what item's down there because that is also Morph Ball locked. And that being said, Baja Blood has made his way out as well. So yeah, no Morph Ball, but starting in Phendrana is a little weird because there are a lot of Morph Ball related checks here. We also can't really do a whole lot in the Chapel of the Elders neighborhood. So we're probably going to see, I believe we have a clear shot to Phendrana shorelines from here, so we're going to see where that elevator takes us, and I'm willing to bet if Space Jump doesn't show up immediately, that it's probably going to send us to Chozo or Early Talon. That being said, let us see what is in Phendrana Canyon, and it is a, well, not exactly Boost Ball, but it is Morph Ball nonetheless. So, excellent. That does give us a little bit to work with now. We could backtrack to Ruined Courtyard. Now, getting back out is definitely going to be a little tougher. You're going to have to scan dash your way with no Boost Ball. Slope jump and scan dash. Kind of a little bit of everything here. Now, there are talks underway of changing up the weekly schedule while we have a bit of downtime here. In the sense, not the schedule per se, but the arrangement of the settings arrangement for the weeklies. That we may have weeklies once or twice a month be have some slightly more advanced settings. So we may see some more interesting requirements as time goes on. Not the case today. We're still running essentially a mix of beginner and trickless logic. And I have no idea what that is in the lighthouse, but I did see a flamethrower in the ice. So that's not going to get picked up. And it did, in fact, look like the elevator led to some place in Chozo Ruins. I didn't see exactly where. Sun Tower. Okay, so it's effectively early Chozo. So this is Vault. Which is to be expected. We don't really have Space Jump or Bombs, so there's not a whole lot else we can do anywhere else. And what is that in Vault? Looks like a Metroid? Yep, it's a Metroid. It's basically a nothing item. Those essentially take the place of 6 of the artifacts and the 2 starting items we were given. So Wave Beam and Morph Ball. And Charge Beam, because Charge Beam is given as a starting item in these settings. So there are 9 Metroids in the pool. We are, however, given an energy tank on Vault Legend Main Plaza, which is very, very welcome. It looks like a missile tank or missile launcher in Plaza half pipe, and on the ledge, grapple ledge, is that a suit or is that ice spreader? One moment, please. That is a suit. Couldn't tell which one, but there's our thermal visor in Ruined Gallery. Thermal visor, that is one of the Thardus keys. So, in fact, I think Thardus is now in play. Oh my. Although I think Thardus might require a warp to start to get to at this point. On the subject of Ice Spreader, though, there it is on Hive Totem. Immediately followed by Phazon Suit. Well, at least we won't have to be going hunting for that today. But yeah, both runners taking the same route for now, which so far doesn't appear to be leading to any wasted time, as we are getting quite a nice boatload of useful items here. Oh yeah, we started with missile launcher. That's right. Never mind. I was thinking, where's the actual missile launcher to fire all these missiles? And then, right, we started with it. It's not often we get a super missile start, but it's certainly welcome. Super missiles are a nice weapon, just a little bit heavy on the ammo usage. Now, there's another suit on Grapple Ledge. It's either going to be Varia or Gravity. I couldn't tell which it is from back here. Sadly, it is not currently in play. We just don't have the tools for it. But it looks like we're going to see where the main plaza elevator takes us, and it takes us to Upper Great Tree. I do not believe we can do anything with that with our current equipment. So yeah, we need Ice Beam or some ball. We need Ice Beam and some ball upgrades. Unfortunately, Samuel is out of missiles, so is unable to go to Shrine, but Baja is going to take advantage of the supers to check the item in the tree. But it looked to be junk, so he will not get that. Both runners playing it safe with the Scarabs, one of the deadliest enemies in the Chozo Ruins, unless you use Morph Ball. And I still can't tell from Baja Blood's screen what suit is on Grapple Edge. I want to say it's Varia, but I'm not 100% sure. Samuel, in the meantime, is going to make his way over to the, on the way to the Watery Hall area, we do get main power bombs. So that is really good to have. Main power bombs are definitely going to make life a lot easier going forward, especially if we're going back to, if we're heading in the direction of mines later down the road. It'll also make Thardus easier should we need to go in that direction. 10 minutes into the match here, and we've got our first missile expansion in Upper Watery Hall. Looks like that was a missile tank in Ruined Fountain. I caught it for a glimpse for a split second there, but it looks like Baja is also heading in the direction of Watery Hall. We're going to get a dynamo check from Samuel, which I think actually might have already checked it, and it was nothing. Or no, was out of missiles and needed a refill. So, missile expansion of convenience, and it yields the space jump. Excellent find. Our runners now basically can break the entire game wide open in the movement department. But this is looking like a pretty good, interesting start here. So we've got Morph Ball, main power bombs, Phazon suit, wave beam, and space jump, and super missiles. So there is actually quite a lot we can do already if we can find the correct areas. Magmore's still kind of a question mark without Various suit. But areas like, there's a good chunk of Phendrana and Chozo that we can do with this equipment. Although regular bombs would be pretty nice. Chat pointing out Samuel's clever use of thermal visor to get the item in lower, to check the Metroid in lower Watery Hall. And with Space Jump, Samuel's just going to go ahead and scan dash over to the suit on Grapple Ledge, but is also going to pick up the missile tank, so that way he's got an extra missile expansion to check the item in the tree, which is another missile. Which, given Samuel's missile ammo issues, probably won't go amiss, and it was in fact Various suit on Grapple Ledge. Okay, so now Magmore is wide open. So yeah, there is now very much a lot our runners can do. Actually, I wouldn't say wide open until we get bombs, but there's another power bomb expansion, rather, in Ruined Shrine. And it looks like Samuel's just going to go straight to Tower of Light from there, with Baja following pretty close behind. So far, this seed looking pretty straightforward. Now, currently, Tower of Light is out of logic just on virtue of lack of missiles, but the current version of Randomizer... Oh, dear. That's a bit of a fall. But the current version of Randomizer does now give Tower of Light the ability to be in logic with enough missile tanks. I believe the missile requirement for Tower of Light is 40. But we do get an energy tank in... Tower Chamber, so an energy tank's certainly not going to go amiss. Much more useful in Prime than they are in Echoes. And we do already have 2 suits, so we have the luxury of a 20% damage resistance bonus, so runner's certainly not going to say no to that either. Samuel having a little bit of trouble with this Tower of Light climb, but is giving it another go. Manages to get up to the 3rd floor. And reveals Tower of Missiles. Ooh, and we had Power Bomb locked Morph Ball bombs today in Shrine. And Samuel must have seen whatever that was in Shrine Half Pipe, so is not interested. But yeah, at this point, the seed is pretty much saying look for more elevators because, again, there is a lot, with bombs now especially, almost the entirety of Chozo is opened up to us. Ice Beam would be nice to get a few more areas knocked out of the way. But we can do a few things. We can fight Flagra. Although I doubt we're going to see that at this point because there is still a lot of places we can check right now. So we're probably going to continue to see an early a sweep of this early Chozo here. Samuel nailing that scan dash to get across Magma Pool here and is rewarded with our first artifact of the day. And I couldn't see what that was in Training Chamber. Samuel didn't give us the best view. Training chamber, we would need boost and spider ball for. Unless we want to do some out-of-bounds shenanigans. All right, looks like Baja's now on the way to, I believe this is a quick field trip back to Ruined Nursery and Ruined Gallery to get the items in the tunnels. This is someplace Samuel has not checked yet, so we might see a couple new items here. But it looks like Nursery is not of interest to Baja. Samuel, on the other hand, is going straight for Zoid. And in Gallery Tunnel, bombs yield us more missiles. Alright, so far Zoid not really giving us any goods, just some missiles. And Baja, let's see what he decides to do here. This is going to be certainly probably a safety save, but is definitely going to be a warp to start here. With this equipment, we can pretty much finish out the rest of labs. We can go fight Thardis. And since we're already down, halfway down Research Lab Hydra, Baja's going to be able to go straight to Control Tower. But it looks like Baja's more interested in heading back towards Thardis and clearing out the rest of early Phendrana, which is not a bad play. There's a few things we can see. And it looks like Zoid didn't have the goods, just another energy tank. Not unwelcome, but not what we're looking for. Ooh, and Ruined Courtyard gives us a grapple beam. That's actually really useful for going to Thardis because that gives us a way to get into Quarantine Monitor. And it looks like that is where Baja is going. This is a very gutsy play here. Because, yeah, so far after Various Suit, we haven't found anything else of particular note. The only thing Baja's currently missing out on under Samuel is the artifact in Magma Pool, but that can be easily discovered when we go find hints in a minute. To clarify with chat, the starting room is the warp to start point in a random starting room seed is whatever room you started in. So in this case, warping to start will always return you to Research Lab Hydra. Now Samuel's going to do some clever trickery with standable terrain and just make his way over to Furnace. Get a peek at the item up there, which is... I want to say that was a missile tank, but I think if it was anything more important, Samuel would definitely do some standable terrain to go grab that. Having a little bit of fun with Grapple Beam while waiting for Thardis to throw a hissy fit. And it looks like Crossway has more missiles. But Samuel's going to go ahead and make his way to Hall of the Elders. Not a whole lot we can do here without Ice Beam, but we can at least check one of the elevators. Back in the Reflecting Pool neighborhood. Baja, meanwhile, is making very quick work of this Thardis. Ooh, and Thardus shielded the missile with its arm. All right, so Samuel is going to do the infinite bomb jump here in order to sneak up to the top of the Hall of the Elders. Doesn't quite sneak into the tunnel. Certainly very close, though. All right, y'all know what's coming. Garignac, Garignac, Garignac. All right, so Samuel discovers a missile tank in antechamber, so nothing of importance there. Bonk. And was Thardus the play today? Answer, no. All right, Quarantine Monitor is a Metroid. And it looks like Samuel has just discovered that the non-ice reflecting pool elevator leads to, that was to Root Cave, Transport Tunnel B. Which is good. We now have access to Talon. We can check artifact hints. And where did Quarantine Cave lead to? Lava Lake. Okay. Lava Lake is also a really good elevator to find. So yeah, so far, neither runner finding any particularly useful items in either of their routes. Baja did find Grapple Beam, but that doesn't do a whole lot. Although logically, it is one of the keys for Root Cave to be put into logic. Logically, you are expected to have both Grapple Beam and X-Ray Visor. But these runners definitely don't need to worry about that. All right, Lava Lake is a missile. Oh, Samuel fell down, attempting to do the Arbor Chamber out of bounds. Baja, meanwhile, enters Triclops Pit. Nice couple of items available here, both here and in Storage Cavern. Looks like Triclops Pit was a missile, and Samuel is still having trouble getting this Root Cave or Arbor Chamber play, so he elects to pass up on it for now. Samuel electing to not check the Talon Canyon elevator and go straight for landing site. While Baja finds another missile expansion in Storage Cavern. Under the ship and landing site, we get another missile expansion, so now missile expansions aren't an issue. Perfect scan dash into Alcove to reveal a boost ball. Oop, Samuel's audio is having some trouble. Don't know if that's just me. Oh, looks to have sorted itself out. And chat's confirming it wasn't me. Thank you, chat, for confirming I am not crazy. All right, so Samuel's going to go check artifact hints. Baja is progressing through Warrior Shrine. No sign of any valuable items here, but we do get a missile tank, and we'll see how Upper Fiery Shores treats us. We did get a power bomb tank in the temple, but other than that, not a whole lot else to go on. So Samuel is still looking for 5 artifacts besides the one we already know in Magma Pool. Baja not interested in Shore Tunnel. And it looks like Samuel's gonna hold off on checking hints right this minute. All right, Transport Tunnel A is our X-ray visor. Definitely not something we want to pass up if we have to go deal with OP later. We found the main quarry elevator in Transport Tunnel A, but Samuel finds the Spider Ball in Frigate Crash Site. All right, Spider Ball is a big one for movement around Phendrana and mines. All right. Let me write that elevator down. So Transport Tunnel A leads to main quarry. So we've seen both Phendrana elevators. We've seen 3 out of 4 Chozo elevators. We're missing a couple of Talon elevators still. Workstation debris. So that's Workstation 2 coming out of Talon Canyon. All right, we can't do anything with that without Ice Beam, so that elevator is not usable to us. So right now, it looks like as far as critical items, Samuel is definitely finding the better stuff, although Baja did come up with that X-ray visor, which could be useful later, but we'll see. And Samuel's going to take a warp to start now to return to Shoreline, probably head in the direction of Thardis as well. So there's 3 elevator combos we're missing. One of the elevators is in Magmore. One of them is in Chozo. We've got... Yeah, let me just count for a second. 1 elevator's in Magmore. There's 1 elevator missing in Mines. There's 2 elevators missing in Talon. Right? Because we don't know where Great Tree Lower or... oh, yeah, we do... Great Tree Lower is Mines. And we don't know where Overgrown Cavern leads to. So there's 2 Talon elevators missing. There's 2 Magmore elevators missing, because I don't think we saw the Fiery Shores elevator. And we're going to see Workstation 1 here. So let's find out where Workstation 1 leads to, and we'll go from there. It leads to Frigate Crash Site. So that is Overgrown Cavern. Looks like Baja's taken a safety save along with a warp. Samuel, meanwhile, is going ahead and proceeding through Control Tower to go check out Research Core. So that's 7 elevators. So the elevators I don't have on my list are the second Reflecting Pool elevator, PPC, Lower Tree, and Fiery Shores. So those can lead anywhere between each other at this point. Because they're all in different regions. So Great Tree Lower could be... So Great Tree Lower can be any of PPC, the other Reflecting Pool elevator, or Fiery Shores. So at this point right now, the big thing that will open this seat up is Ice Beam, because that lets us use most of the elevators we've discovered up to this point. Baja Blood nailing the observatory dash under fire. Well done. Doesn't look like Research Lab 8 are currently providing that many of the goods. Just more missiles. I could be wrong, but I think that might have been a gravity suit. And indeed it was. All right. Now Baja heading back in the same direction here, so he will stumble upon gravity suit momentarily. To clarify with chat, we already have seen Antechamber, and it is not Ice Beam. All right, Research Core is a missile, so Samuel decides that is enough for me here. Baja is unfortunately going into this area without boost or spider balls, so he's going in here a little bit under-equipped by comparison to Samuel. Chat brings up Vanilla Plasma Beam. I do believe there's nothing stopping us from getting to Geothermal Core right now with this equipment, so that is very much an option. Actually, there is Ice Beam. Ice Beam lets us keeps us out of plasma processing. We could still do the geothermal core puzzle, but we just can't actually open up. We just can't get into plasma processing. I'm interested to see when Samuel is going to open up his hints and see where our remaining 5 artifacts are, because at this point we've now seen a very large amount of items for 33 minutes in, and none of them, besides Magma Pool, none of them have shown up. So yeah, we're still missing 5 of our 6 artifacts, and at this point we've pretty much cleared out most of early Phendrana. Baja's given us the early Magmortor. Frigate we can't do without... could we do Reverse Frigate without Ice Beam? I think so. Ghosts is in play. Flogger and Ghost is in play. Yeah, right now the only way to get to... Yeah, the only way to get to Frigate right now is to bar skip. And, yeah, to clarify with chat, we can get to Main Quarry, because Transport Tunnel A leads to Main Quarry, but Main Quarry is the only thing we can check right now. Everything after that needs Ice Beam. So we could have Ice Beam in Main Quarry, which would be rude. All right, Samuel now making his rounds across early Phendrana and has uncovered Grapple Beam. At this point, Samuel could also do a quick peek of Chapel of the Elders. Can also check, can see behind the ice in Ice Ruins East, but cannot get it. But can also, no idea what that was in Ice Ruins West. Samuel must have some really good eyes, because I sure can't see it. Samuel also just showing off at this point with scan dashing, literally just going out of bounds here. I believe Samuel may be setting up for an infinite speed here for trying to check Chapel of the not Chapel of the Elders, for checking, well, partially Chapel, but also Chozo Ice Temple. Is it allowed? Yes. Infinite speed and out of bounds are allowed in weekly races. Baja is choosing to warp to start now. Going back to Hydra. It does actually save a couple of rooms. So what Samuel's going to do here is essentially load into is going to load into Chapel of the Elders here. Is still in the tunnel right now, even though... Okay, so now Samuel's back in the correct room, and now is going to go into Chapel. All right, Chapel itself has missiles, and I think this is where Samuel's going to set up the infinite speed. Yes, no, or is he going to pass up on it for now? Looks like Samuel's not going to do Wave Sun right now. Is instead just going to go ahead and check Ice Runes East. Unless Samuel saw what was in Chozo Ice Temple and I didn't. Samuel might have also seen what was in Chozo Ice Temple already. We are going to, however, get a look at Ice Runes East. We can pick up the item in the tower, but we cannot pick up the item behind the ice. That is a Metroid. And inside the ice, we have more missiles. Wow, so this really does beg the question, where are our artifacts today? Honestly, given the circumstances, they're probably all clumped in Farfandrana or mines at this point. To answer a question in chat, the Metroids literally do nothing. They just add 1% to your tally, but that's it. They don't put any items in your inventory. Samuel, it looks like, is going to make the play to Thardis here. Unfortunately, we do know that this isn't going to play out except for giving elevator information. Which, where does Thardis lead to again? Lava Lake. So Samuel actually hasn't been to Magmore yet, so he's most likely going to do the same Magmore tour that Baja just did. And elect to just go straight into Thardis, which, given that we are still looking for 2 beams, I'm not too surprised by this play. To answer a question, chat, we need the Chozo artifacts to get into Impact Crater and fight Metroid Prime, the final boss. Now, we only need 6 artifacts instead of the usual 12 in weekly settings. The other 6 artifacts are already placed and in turn have been replaced with Metroids. Samuel, in the meantime, not having too much trouble with Thardis at the moment. Alright, Baja has returned to Sun Tower. Let's see what he chooses to do here. This may be a reverse Flogger play. Although this looks to be in the direction of Vault, so probably not. Samuel is making very liberal use of those power bombs he's holding on to, and as a result is blowing through Thardis here very quickly. It looks like Baja's heading back in the direction of Zoid and Magma Pool, so we'll see how this plays out. We know Baja's not going to find anything, unfortunately, in this far Chozo dive. This also gives us another good look at Training Chamber, because I didn't see too well on Samuel's screen. Okay, it's a Metroid. All right, so it looks like we're going to see our runners sort of retracing each other's steps for the next few minutes. So we're not going to see any new information until somebody opens up their logbook to check the check our artifact hints. I almost said Sky Temple key hints, but that's the next game. And yeah, Baja has not fought Zoid yet, so he's going to go and fight Zoid now. All right, Samuel discovers Lava Lake, and this is going to be his cue to go ahead and do the... that's going to be his cue to do the Magmore tour. And he can also go all the way to Workstation with this equipment. And also open up Prepare Plasma Processing. All right, so it looks like Baja's actually decided to skip out on Zoid here and is going straight for Furnace. I'm actually trying to think what the play is here, because between what everybody's seen, we're starting to run out of checks. We are actually starting to... Ooh, it might be Flogra Ghosts. Because I'm trying to think. Transport Tunnel A was nothing. We've already seen... We must have seen the Fiery Shores elevator, because Baja passed through that area at some point to check Shore Tunnel. Unless... No, I don't think... Yeah, because somebody would have had to go there eventually to check Workstation. So we must have seen where Fiery Shores led to. I just didn't catch it. Upper Dynamo could be our progress. Where was Spider Ball again? I'm trying to remember. Spider Ball was in Frigate Crash Site. That was perfectly in play. Let's see. Boost was in Alcove, so that was also in play. So yeah, all of our equipment is perfectly logical right now. Yeah, we're running down to... It's either Flogra Ghosts... or Upper Dynamo, I think, at this point. Oops, Samuel taking a bit of a lava bath, but luckily with 3 suits, you get 50% damage resistance, which also protects you against DOTs. So yeah, and also main quarry. So yeah, as I see it, there's only 3 places left. It's Sun Chamber, Quarry, or Upper Dynamo. Because Arbor Chamber's out of logic until we find Plasma Beam. Yeah, I think Quarry would be the funniest. Plant would just be cruel. And it looks like Samuel's going to backtrack to the Fiery Shores elevator, so we'll have a nice little double check here and see what it is. Samuel absolutely not afraid to take a lava bath here. Lower tree. Okay, so that would mean PPC leads to the other reflecting pool elevator. So yeah, lower tree we can't do anything with until we get Ice Beam. So that... where was the main quarry elevator? TTA. So mines is pretty isolated. The only two ways into mines are to either Far Chozo or Workstation. Not Workstation, sorry. Central Magmore. All right, so Baja's going to head into the same... Baja's going to head in the same direction here as Samuel once did. See if he has any issues with the Arbor Chamber out of bounds. And I think Samuel's going to take a safety save here and a warp to start. All right, looks like Baja gets the out of bounds for Arbor Chamber. Just needs to line the camera up a little bit and falls into an artifact. Interesting. So we've got an artifact locked by Plasma Beam. That is Baja's second. So yeah, not an immediate issue for Samuel leaving Arbor Chamber behind. It's not Ice Beam behind Plasma. Although that being said, he is going to have to come back in this direction eventually, although that could be a great Artifact 6 for later. But yeah, at this point with no Ice Beam, we are down to either Upper Dynamo, Sun Chamber Ghosts, or Flagra, or Main Quarry. So take your pick. They are all literally on opposite corners of, well, Chozo and, or Dynamo and Sun Chamber aren't too bad, but Magmore is literally on the other corner of the world right now, because the only way to get to Main Quarry is through Magmore. And actually... is Magmore particularly isolated from Chozo? I think it is, actually. Yeah, Magmore is completely isolated from Chozo. All four of the Magmore elevators, none of the four Magmore elevators lead in that direction. Actually, that's a small... oh, no. Vault leads to Phendrana Shorelines. I take that back. Yeah, Thardus leads to... Lava Lake leads to Thardus. Transport Tunnel A leads to Main Quarry. Both Workstation elevators lead to Talon. And Fiery Shores leads to Talon. So yeah, Chozo has no elevators leading to Magmore. So yeah, Main Quarry is very isolated right now. But yeah, Reverse Flagra definitely in the cards here for Samuel, and this will be an absolute cakewalk with this equipment. X-ray visors, super missiles, ghosts are absolutely not an issue. All right, we are going to see our remaining artifacts here. So our remaining artifacts are located in MQB. We need Plasma Beam, Gravity Chamber, Fungal Hall B, and Fungal Hall Access. So yeah, almost all of the remaining artifacts are in lower mines, except Gravity Chamber. But that also needs... all four of those artifacts could potentially need Plasma Beam. Logically, if the Gravity Chamber artifact is the one in the ceiling. But yeah, yeah, we pretty much need Plasma Beam for the rest of those items. And Baja's about to hop onto Frigate Crash Site here and receive Spider Ball. But after that, that is going to be it for the Talon Dive for Baja. He has nothing more he can do here without Ice Beam. Alright, enter Flagra, exit Flagra. Alright, so the way things are going, it's pretty unlikely that Ice Beam is going to be locked by Plasma, considering that it currently locks out pretty much the whole rest of the world. I actually wasn't paying attention to see what it was on Flagra. But we'll see in a minute when the camera cuts to it. It is a Metroid, so it is either Ghosts, Upper Dynamo, or Main Quarry. Boy, Ghosts Ice Beam would be pretty nasty. Now, if Plasma Beam is next, then the only other spot Ice Beam could have been in is in any of the ice checks in Phendrana that we passed over, but we might have missed one or two of them because I didn't get the best view at what Ice Ruins West was. But it looks like Baja's caught on to the same idea here and is going to be proceeding back towards Chozo as well. And Ghost is not a critical item, evidently. Based on that sound cue. Sounds like it was just a missile. Or another Metroid, who knows? Alright, so we've got Upper Dynamo or Main Quarry. Yeah, and again, Main Quarry is completely isolated right now. Because the only way to get there is to get to Transport Tunnel A, and there is no way to Magmor from Chozo. Fastest way to Magmor after Dynamo would probably be... Ooh, alright, let's think this through for a minute. Where does Thardus lead to again? Lava Lake. Where do we need to go again? PPC. So Lava Lake wouldn't be too bad of an elevator, but that would require you to warp to start and then go through Thardus again to go through Labs again to get to Thardus, which from coming out of Hydra wouldn't actually be that bad. Oh, never mind. Baja's found Ice Beam in Upper Dynamo. All right, folks, have fun full clearing the entire rest of the game up to MQA looking for Plasma Beam. Because that's what we're in, folks, a plasma hunt. So yeah, at this point, we can now do pretty much the entirety of Upper Mines. We now have access to Far Phendrana. We could still have Vanilla Plasma Beam, which would be insulting, but it could happen. Samuel is about to come across Ice Beam now, too, which I'm sure they're going to be relieved to see that, because, again, the only other option would have been an isolated Main Quarry. But with Baja choosing to not do Flogger yet, assuming he doesn't head back in that direction anyway, he might just take the lead for a little while here. And it's at this point that Samuel's going to double-check his remaining artifacts and see that pretty much all of the remaining artifacts are locked behind Plasma Beam. So yeah, at the very least, no need to do OP beyond this point, but at the same time, we still need to find Plasma Beam. So yeah, the game was expecting you to pick up, that was Space Jump in, Lower Dynamo before, so you had to Space Jump your way back to Research Lab Aether after picking it up to get, or go back to Research Lab Aether after picking up Space Jump to get... Actually, no, Space Jump by itself could have let you get Spider Ball with scan dashing in this logic for Frigate Crash Site. All right, looks like Baja's first stop of the day is going to be for Great Tree Upper and the Life Grove neighborhood. Three items here. Fairly sizable chance of Plasma being here. Samuel's also going to make a quick detour to Hall of the Elders. Check the item there. And also discover that the... Ooh, nicely done, Baja. But I think he accidentally overboosted it to miss the tunnel. So, yeah, mild oopsie there. Alright, Life Grove itself, no sign of Plasma Beam. We'll see what's inside the column. I was going to say Spire, but that's not really the right term for it. No sign of Plasma in Hall of the Elders either. And an energy tank in Life Grove. So Life Grove is not the answer. Frigate is now fully in play as well. Plasma and Biohazard containment would be pretty funny. Although, given we started with super missiles, Biohazard containment's honestly not the worst place it can be. I think at this point, if you want to troll, you want Plasma and MQA. Because at that point, you have to clear the entirety of Upper Mines to get down there. And you're not going to be passing checks at this point. Alright, Samuel's going down, what is that, the vault elevator? Or no, it's the other reflecting pool elevator, so that's going to send him to PPC. So Samuel's gambling on mines here. So at this point, it's just a matter of who zigs and zags and which one finds Plasma first, folks. Baja not having too much trouble with bar skip. And doesn't look like PPC is Plasma. Hydro access tunnel not the answer either. So yeah, we're in a bit of a interesting scenario where because Plasma's the only thing we're looking for and it doesn't lock out too much besides lower mines, suddenly the seat is quite an open ball game here. All right, here's our biohazard containment check. And it is not biohazard containment. Looks like Samuel's electing to go straight down vent shaft here. And it was a missile tank there. Last check in frigate. And it is missiles. All right, so frigate is not the play, but we are going to get an overgrown cavern check from Baja after he clears out. All right, Samuel defeats Cloaked Drone, and we're going to see what this is in Central Dynamo. It is not Plasma Beam. Now, we don't have to do the maze anymore, actually, we do to unlock the door, but it looks like Samuel tried to do some fancy stuff and it didn't quite work out. Oh, this maze is already looking bad. I think Samuel's got to go all the way back around. So that's square 16 at that puddle. $39. 43 squares. That's pretty bad. And that's before even counting the detours. Now, that did cost Samuel a lot of health here, and he is coming up to the firing squad, so he's going to be a little careful here. Baja, in the meantime, is going to do the Farfandrana checks first before proceeding down towards mines. And luckily, transport access north, nothing of importance here. Especially since it's plasma locked. We also know that means storage cave is no longer an option. Since that is also plasma locked. And it sounds like MQA does not have plasma beam because Samuel is busting right out of there. It doesn't look like Frost Cave was plasma beam. Or maybe Ba's actually destroying the ice school. I think it's plasma and Frost Cave. And indeed it is. Plasma beam right in front of the gravity chamber artifact. So this seed is now written out for Baja Blood. He is in go mode. All right, so yeah, Baja's looking pretty good here because Samuel is not really got an easy way to get to Fendrana right now. The only fast way to Fendrana now is definitely not in Mines because Mines is also isolated from Fendrana. The fastest way to Fendrana for Samuel now would be a warp to start, but he's not going to do that until he gets to main quarry. And indeed, the artifact was up top here, so all of the artifacts, besides the one in Magma Pool, were plasma locked today. Yeah, I would say at this point it's pretty much Baja's race to lose because his route is pretty well defined. From here, he's going to figure out how to get back to Mines, which the fastest way to Mines from here specifically would be probably to take Thardus, the quarantine elevator, down to Lava Lake and then go to PPC from, well, actually, no. we would want to go to PPC because all the remaining artifacts are in lower mines. Fungal Hall, Access, Fungal Hall, and MQBs. So yeah, what's the fastest way to PPC? Reflecting Pool is where the elevator itself is. What's the fastest way to Chozo? Actually, to go to Phendrana Shorelines, and that would take him to Vault. And then he could go around to that from there. But it looks like Baja's electing to go with the Transport Tunnel A to Main Quarry route. So yeah, this actually was a pretty close race. Both runners had found Ice Beam pretty close to each other. But Baja's decision to go to dip far Phendrana instead of Mines ended up being the winning play here by the looks of it. That being said, Samuel's movement and daredevilness shouldn't be discounted because he's been running most of this seed on 4 energy tanks. And the E-tanks have definitely been a little bit on the sparser side for the early half. So yeah, what did we Wave Beam was like one of the first things we picked up since we started with Super Missiles in Research Lab Hydra. Yeah, the real big isolator this seed was Ice Beam, because that was just locking out the elevators, it was locking out mines in Far Phendrana. And yeah, there was a pretty nasty backtrack for it, because you were expected to get Space Jump in Research Lab Aether, go to Frigate Crash Site to grab Spider Ball, and then go all the way to Upper Dynamo for Ice Beam. And Phendrana does not have any elevators leading to Talon. So yeah, the elevators were pretty bad this seed. And main quarry was a missile. Alright, now Samuel going through this elevator will take him back to TTA. And this is going to be towards... We'll see if he wants to go to plasma processing from here, and it looks like that's what he's going to do. Baja, in the meantime, just cruising on through to lower mines. Oh, chat's right. Space Jump was in lower. I'm thinking of Gravity Chamber that was in Research... Gravity Suit that was in Research Lab Aether. And normally I associate Gravity Suit with Frigate Crash Site, but you can get Frigate Crash Site in Logic with just a Scan Dash. And if that wasn't enough, the Grapple Beam in Ruined Courtyard would definitely have done it. All right, so with that all said, yeah, Baja's going to get through MQA. Samuel's going to check Life Grove. Oh, that's right, because Samuel never checked the Fiery Shores elevator. But with Ice Beam in tow, he could do bar skip, skip, and just go straight to Life Grove that way. As far as armaments going into final bosses are concerned, they should be pretty solid. They both have super missiles and ice spreader. They have about 100 missiles in the tank. 6 energy tanks with 3 suits shouldn't be too bad at all. And all visors. So yeah, final bosses should be pretty much a cakewalk for these two. I think we're going to get our first look at Overgrown Cavern here. Oh, no, we just passed by it. Oh, no, wait, that was, that was, the Root Cave elevator. Never mind. Or no, not even that. That was the main plaza elevator from Upper Tree. All right, Samuel's warping to start, which is good. That is going to place him close to Farfandrana where he needs to be. And we know the fastest way there is just to waltz out of labs from the front of Hydra. Yeah, Baja just continuing the gauntlet here, but Samuel will encounter Plasma Beam in just a moment here. Interestingly, Baja is deciding to go through OP. Where does PPC lead to again? Reflecting Pool. Yeah, I'm not sure this is faster. Although that being said, Baja doesn't look to be having any trouble with this OP Phase 1. Let me think. What's Baja going for here? Because, yeah, PPC will lead to Reflecting Pool. The other Reflecting Pool elevator will actually lead to Root Cave, so I actually take that back. This elevator combo will work just fine. Because, yeah, the other way would have been from going from Shoreline to, like, Vault. And then where can you get to? Yeah, Upper Tree from Main Plaza. Yeah, it's definitely faster to go this way. Does OP also turn to face you like Elite Pirates? Yes. But yeah, Baja, perfect OP there. Oh, okay, Samuel tapping into his inner Sonic Genesis there in that tunnel. Nice energy tank. Certainly not going to say no before final bosses. So yeah, it's going to be PPC to Reflecting Pool 1, or Reflecting Pool 2. Reflecting Pool 1 will take Baja to Root Cave, and from there it's just a one vertical shaft up to get to final bosses. So, yeah, Baja's route's pretty well ironed out here. Samuel, on the other hand, has found Plasma Beam, and that puts him in go mode, but he does still have to go get all of the remaining Mines artifacts and go back for Arbor Chamber. But Arbor Chamber is a good artifact 6, especially since taking that OP route that I just described, that would send him to Root Cave anyway. So yeah, Samuel's route is also pretty well defined for this. So yeah, elevators may have been a troll a bit early here, but they are going to end up routing quite nicely right at the end. And that's the beauty of random elevators in these even weeklies, is that they really do, they can lead to some really isolated locations, but when it works phenomenally. So Samuel is also going to go from the Transit Tunnel A elevator to PPC. Or, oh no, he's going to take TTA to Main Quarry. Never mind. Getting my elevators mixed up. If you are looking for, to answer your question, chat, if you were looking for Flamethrower, it was behind the ice in Phendrana shorelines. Nope. Baja also tapping into his inner Sonic Genesis there. There's been a lot of collision issues today. Samuel said just 4 minutes ago in the race time chat, routing is hard. Which, given the way these elevators have been playing out, I don't blame him. Is there a Ridley cheese? Chad asks. Yes, turns out his first phase is vulnerable to Boost Ball. Which does 50,000 damage per frame. Unfortunately, this was patched out in later versions. Now, if you think that's overpowered, the cannonball item that you get in Metroid Prime 2 when you're launched out of a cannon does 500,000 damage per frame, and there's an enemy in the game that is quad weak to it. For perspective, a charged power beam shot does 50. But yeah, it looks like Baja's all set to go here. Baja's all set to go here for final bosses. So 87 missiles, might have to conserve supers just a little bit, but otherwise this should be a relatively painless EXO. Alright, Samuel is continuing through the Lower Mines Gauntlet here, picking up power bombs. And unfortunately took a fall to a Metroid. Did make it to the end of Fungal Hall B, though. And that should be Samuel's second to last artifact, the last one coming up here in MQB. Oh yeah, Samuel also needs to go detour for Arbor Chamber, but luckily that is right next to Artifact Temple, so looks like Samuel is going to take the Warp to Start option to get back. So Samuel's path here would be, unfortunately, let me think this through. So from Hydra, Samuel could get to Shoreline, which would send him to Vault, which he can go to Reflecting Pool that way. It'd be a bit of a walk, but I think that's about as close as he can get with his current equipment, or with the way these elevators have planned out. And Baja's not having too much trouble with this EXO. Is already down to Subchamber 3, and we'll pretty soon be heading to Subchamber 4 here. All right, Baja taking full advantage of that ice spreader. Another little fun fact for you, EXO actually does take 50% more damage to Ice Beam. Still technically a Metroid. Ooh, and got a nice double swap back to Plasma, so that's going to spell the end of... Whoops, never mind, Quick Charge. But Baja counters handsomely, and that is it for EXO. So yeah, at this point, we're just waiting out for Essence to get to the point in her cycle where she'll drop a pool. And let's see how Baja chooses to go about this. Now, with all visors, thankfully, this is pretty much not an issue. So he's going to just go ahead and easily attack cancel his way into the next pool. Alright, took a bit of a second there, but Baja should have enough attack cancels to get the third pool without much difficulty. And then I think we're going to see the pool cancel strats to finish off on the third phase here. Unfortunately, Essence is literally standing right on top of the... Okay, never mind. She moved out of the way. But yeah, but by rapidly entering and exiting the pool, it doesn't drain it for a while. And that is going to do it for Baja Blood, who finishes this race with an official race time GG time of, checks notes, 1:31.14. And that is going to be good for first place amongst the community in this race. GG's to Baja. Congratulations. Alright, we have extended our invitation to Baja. We will see if he joins us for an interview. certainly a very interesting seed, the hunt for Ice Beam, and we are joined by Baja Blood in the booth. GG to you and congratulations.
Thank you. Holy heck, what a seed.
Yeah, that was a bit of a brain teaser, especially when it came to Ice Beam.
Yeah, like vanilla ice plus extra steps. Love that.
Yeah, so between the two of you, between you and Samuel, you had actually come around to Ice Beam at about the same time, except you had skipped Flagra. Samuel did that first, so you had ended up getting Ice Beam first.
Okay.
But then the big change came after that when you split after picking Ice Beam. Samuel went straight to Mines, while you went to Far from Drana, which ended up giving you Plasma.
Yeah, I was actually worried that I had thrown the seed by doing the life grub and frigate play before Gravity, because Gravity made sense to do right away, just because if Plasma's there, then it routes really well because you needed to go do Grav Chamber anyways. So I probably ought to have done that first. That was a bit lucky that nobody else made that play, I guess.
Yeah, other than that, the two of you, your routings, you both took separate routes, but sort of, again, met up at Ice Beam. Samuel, you went to, I think you did Magmore earlier, while Samuel did his Magmore dive later. You went straight to Talon when you found the elevators leading there. The elevators were not that great today, except for right at the end.
I felt so betrayed by that workstation save elevator. I really thought with the thermal and the Varia that the seed wanted you to route through Thardis into a Magmore elevator to Talon. And when I got all the way there and realized I was ice locked, I was so upset.
Yeah, that's also what kind of gave us the hint that, oh, okay, we're down to either one of three locations where Ice Beam could be at the time. It was either both the Sun Chamber checks, Upper Dynamo, or Main Quarry. A very isolated Main Quarry.
At the time I was so certain that the workstation save was going to pick the Talon that I didn't really want to do the elevator rides for one check, but yeah, by the time I was back in Shows, I was like, oh no, what if I just skipped it?
Yeah, but
luckily, that was not the case.
Yeah, the game dropping Phazon suit and Various suit right at the start.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was a little bit of a backtrack to go get Ice Beam 2, because it was in Upper Dynamo. You needed Spider Ball, which was in Frigate Crash Site, so you needed to go back after getting Space Jump in Lower Dynamo, no less. Welcome to Metroid games, folks.
Yeah, I felt behind even from the start. I think sort of logically I had made the correct play by putting up Shrine, but I got kind of punished by that PB expansion being there. So I got bombs logically in time, but I was worried that might have been sequence broken by Samuel, among others.
No, Samuel also picked up main power. Actually, did Samuel pick up? I think Samuel picked up main power bombs first as well.
Okay.
Because yeah, Samuel went to Watery Hall before you did.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, in the early game before you split between Talon and Magmore, Samuel was ahead by a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I had some not great execution. I had some missile troubles at the start too. It was rough.
both you and Samuel had some mild missile troubles, to be perfectly honest. The elevators worked out nice at the end, though, letting Reflecting Pool act as a highway to get back to Root Cave.
Yeah, I'm curious. Samuel's last artifact wasn't Lower Mines. I wasn't sure at the end whether save warping and just going all the way through Chozo was going to be better than OP. Oh,
that's what. Oh, I was not aware that Metroid. Never mind.
Oh well, he's not cooperating.
I was about to say I wasn't aware that that Fission Metroid was immune to doors.
Yep, you can sneak that one through the door, and then when he tries to attack you, he can kind of push you into the collision and get you out of bounds. Very carefully hit all the load triggers for all the exo chambers or sub chambers. Let's get this whole fight.
Yeah, the seed didn't really open up until we found Spider Ball, because that really opened up everything before Ice Beam. But up until then, it was a actually pretty stacked start. You ended up starting with super missiles, which immediately yielded wave beam. How did the Hydra start feel?
That's like such a bad starting room, and like starting in Fen and random elevators is always rough too if those elevators aren't good, and they weren't that good this seed. So it meant like save warping felt a lot less powerful than it could have been.
Yeah, Samuel also did not check artifact hints until he found Ice Beam.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, Samuel also had an issue with the Arbor Chamber out of bounds. He ended up falling all the way down Root Cave before getting up to the ceiling. So so he skipped Arbor Chamber. So that ended up being his 6th artifact.
Okay. That's not too bad to pick up on that. Probably coming in through Root Cave anyways.
Yeah, although Samuel did the work to start strat as well. That route would have been go from labs to shorelines and then go to reflecting pool from vault.
Yeah, probably faster than what I did, especially with my trouble in EPC. I'm not good at that climb for whatever reason.
Yeah, although to be fair, the reflecting pool elevators being right next to Root Cave did work out to save a little time.
Yeah, that was the last elevator pair I had left, so I knew that led to the other one.
All right. Yeah, bosses in general haven't really been a problem. Having early power bombs, you both went to Thardis, both fought Thardis. You fought Thardis way earlier, but you both had power bombs, so the fight was an absolute cakewalk. You both blew right through that. Other than that, there's not a whole lot else I have in particular to say, because the seed, it basically was a stack start into an ice plasma casino.
Yep. Yeah, I was lucky that it was on path and while I was routing in the gravity chamber artifact. Unfortunate for Samuel, because he easily could have gone his way if it was in mines, because that was kind of the last location that probably.
What was really interesting is that when you had read your hints, you had picked up both the Arbor Chamber and Magma Pool artifacts, so all of the remaining artifacts beyond that point were plasma locked. So 5 out of 6 were plasma locked today, if you count Arbor Chamber.
Oh, true, yeah, because it was the plasma lock on the gravity chamber, logically.
Yeah, we were thinking for a bit that we might have like Vanilla Plasma or Ice Beam. I was on the bandwagon of Ice Beam and Main Quarry because that would have probably been the most insulting spot given how isolated Main Quarry was.
That would have been really interesting. I wonder if anyone did that check out. Because that would have been, it was probably a decent play to do it. Just at the time I was so certain I was going to get a million checks in Talon.
Yeah, well actually, the Main Quarry elevator was Transit Tunnel A, so you didn't need Ice Beam to get in there.
Yep. Yeah, no, that was a perfectly logical Ice Beam location, or potential Ice Beam location, which would have been, yeah, that would have been nasty.
Yeah, because again, the only way there is Transit Tunnel A. And the other thing, it didn't help that there were no elevators to Magmor from Chozo. They were all the Chozo elevators led to either Talon or Ventrana.
Yeah, and like 2 of the good early Talon elevators being the 2 workstation ones is also really bad.
Yep.
Hard to get to early Talon.
Alright, but yeah, Samuel had very little trouble with Exo, so he's gonna probably blitz right through Essence. Now that Essence has moved away from the corpse and is a bit more of a cooperative position.
Yep. Maybe finishing up in a second here.
Yeah, this is the second pool, yeah. But yeah, Samuel's got this well under control. just hovering over all the phase-on pools today.
That's so weird.
But yeah, that should do it. And that is GG for Samuel. He will finish with a time of 1:42.37, and that is good for second amongst the racers in this pool today. Well played by all of our runners today, and we'll see if Samuel wants to join us for an interview. Yes, folks, if you want to see some more rando shenanigans, our Echoes Weeklies resume. Well, they've been going consistently so far, but we'll be back with Echoes Weeklies Saturday at 3 in the afternoon Eastern Time. And we are joined by Samuel. GG to you.
Oh, GG. Well played, Bob.
GG's. Yeah, well played as well. That was a tough seed.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't expecting that. I had a rough time finding Ice Beam and also Plasma.
Well, turns out you and Baja actually found Ice Beam at about the same time. The difference between the two of you was the Flagra clear.
Okay.
And then after that, Baja went straight to Farfandrana after Life Grove, and you went to Mines.
Yeah, that was the difference there as to which one you commit to first.
Other than that, you both kind of piggybacked off of each other's checks. Like, you both did your Chozo clear, and then Baja went to Talon. Samuel, you did Magmore. Hang on a second. Yeah, I think that's, if I'm recalling how it went out. Yeah, because you got to Hints first. Yeah, and Baja did Magmore first, then went to Talon. So then you did the other way around. So you ended up kind of meeting in the middle for Ice Beam, although we were getting a little worried that Ice Beam would have been in a what would have been at the time a very isolated main quarry.
Definitely. I was kind of concerned about that.
Because the only way to main quarry was Transit Tunnel A, and there were no Chozo elevators leading to Magmore.
Yep.
So that was the elevators were kind of yikes.
Yeah, I just wasn't happy with the hunt for Plasma, because that occasionally happens when you're basically go mode minus Plasma very early on, but you haven't done many checks, and there's just so much you can do, and you're just looking for one specific item to open up everything.
Yeah, It was also really interesting because all of the remaining artifacts after Magma Pool were Plasma locked.
Yeah, so it was lucky for me that Grav Chamber was one of the only like non-hard locked Plasma requirements, because that was what kind of led me to go there earlier. Was I knew I needed to go there at some point anyways.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yep, I think that was the big deciding factor here. It's just Plasma's location. Frostcape having progression is something I've seen in a while. It's very uncommon that it has progression.
That's very true.
Were you saying something, Baja?
My big fear was that Zoid had ice, because I never did it. And it got to the point where I was like, if Zoid has ice, I'm just going to lose by 45 minutes and forfeit. So at this point, there's no reason to check it, because I'll know soon enough if it had it.
Yeah. You typically want to do that check pretty early, but that is quite the gamble.
I felt behind when I got bombs, because I did Shrine late, because I wanted to wait until I could do all the checks at once, but then realized that there was like a bailout PB there, and I could have had bombs the whole time I was doing Chozo routing. So at that point I was like, alright, I really think the seed is pointing you through Thardis, through Magmore to Talon, and so I decided to follow that really early before doing any like bomb stuff in Chozo, because I was feeling behind, and then it did not quite work out. And then I was feeling very behind.
Yeah, I kind of did the similar thing early with routing in Rune Shrine late. It was mainly because prime drops kept screwing me over really early, several times, and nothing was giving me drops.
Both of you had the same problem. Like I think, Samu, you actually improvised with the missile tank in Watery Hall to get to Dynamo.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was out of missiles there. I heard like the missile sound effect. I was like, okay, I hope that's low missiles and not out of missiles. And then I unmorphed when I got to the missile door. I was like, ah, crap, I gotta come back.
I was so stupid. I had like shot the tree and it was a missile. And I was like, oh, I don't want that because I'd have to loop all the way around. And then I went into the next room. And I was like, wait, I need 2 missiles coming up here, and I have none now. And then I go back into Plaza and the tree's reloaded. And it's, oh my gosh, now I can't even get those.
Yeah, it was quite unfortunate. I have to say though, I think this seed is really unique. We haven't really had a good seed like this in a while.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting one. I had a good time with it.
I don't think we've had a lab start before in these even weeklies.
Yeah,
so pretty cool.
The lab start was interesting. We had I remember having a security access seeing a security access A start a couple of months ago. That was a really interesting seed.
I was also in that. It was a inner slice.
Crazy. I have never started in mines. I've started deep in labs though, which was rough. Like pretty much like starting in Aether, and your first check you have to do is research core, and then you just have to like get out of labs with no health. Dark labs with no health. It was not
surprised that's in logic.
Yeah, I don't. Not many like rooms have like health combat requirements. I think one of the only ones is like Mine's security station, like fighting those pirates if you don't have good equipment. So yeah, game can totally expect you to play very carefully.
Yep. This time around, I'm also. It really shows that labs doesn't really have many health requirements because you just start with supers and it's expected to climb up Research Lab Hydra with no health, which isn't terrible, obviously, but it's not easy for someone who isn't used to the speed strats and movement for that room. Same thing with I don't remember the name. It's the room with all the pirate fights and the drone sees you. I can't remember the name.
Oh, the front of labs, yeah.
Yeah, that also. But hey,
all right.
It was alright race. I think my movement was pretty good, but my routing did not pay off, to say the least.
All right, with that said, anything else, gentlemen, that you would like to say before we close out?
Nope, I'm alright.
Yeah, thank you for tracking, or for Common Captain. Thank you for tracking off. Appreciate you both.
Appreciate it.
Indeed. Many thanks to our volunteer and setup crews as always. Thanks to SpeedGaming for hosting us on this holiday Sunday. And the rest of you folks, have a great rest of your weekend. We will see you next mission, which for Prime will be next Sunday for an odd weekly here at 3 p.m. So thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you next mission. Take care.
See you, folks.